All right, I'll give everybody a heads up when we get to like 10 minutes. I don't think you guys are going to take that long, but I'm sure with Q&A, we'll probably use most of the class period today, so I'll give you a heads up there. Tucker, you want to get started?
All right. Welcome, Mr. Indovino. After delving deep in the pedal to cause, we've pinpointed the best ways to increase the personal connection of everyone involved with PTC. Through this strengthened connection, we will attain the next ride's goal of 3,000 riders and $3 million, while maintaining the strength of PTC's community-wide passion. We've broken up our plan into 3 sections: decreasing commitment anxiety, increasing participation, and recruiting sponsors. The $500 minimum to ride may seem daunting to potential riders, but Jay can identify some ways to minimize the stress associated with committing to ride for the cause.
In order to decrease commitment anxiety, we came up with 2 plans. The first is better communication to riders, and the second is breaking down donations into time segments. To better communicate to riders, we had to split up into 2 groups: new riders and current riders. And we also had to define our target areas, which are St. Charles, Town and Country, Wildwood, Kirkwood, Clayton, Webster, and Ladue. The first form of advertisement we're going to use to decrease the commitment anxiety will be through promoting the early bird in every advertisement we have. And we plan to use it as a reminder, but also when it's 2 weeks prior to each early bird deadline, we want to send out advertisements that are only the early bird, because that's when it's crunch time and sign-ups are getting tense, if you will. We also plan to advertise and have news stories on KSDK. The existing partnership will allow easy access and also great public relations for the organization. Newspapers and local patches are also a big form of advertisement, and we can have stories on them. We think this is crucial because it can allow easy access, focuses directly on our target demographics. Advertisements on radio stations such as Y98, KMOX, and ESPN are also very important. Y98 has over 700,000 tune-ins per day. KMOX is the highest rated AM show, and ESPN has a lot of very sports-minded listeners, and after all, it's a sports-minded event. Jack Rowland will touch on social media, which is also part of this plan, but that'll be in a little bit. And the strategies to reach new riders are a lot of the same as current riders, besides the fact that there's a huge emphasis on word of mouth, which we know is very important to the organization. The goal for word of mouth will be able to find a very powerful person in each of the target areas, such as a principal or a fire chief or a business owner, that we will be able to spread the mission and advertise and promote the early bird to riders, new and potential. Now Becca will be talking to you about the e-newsletter.
Alright, so one of the keys to communicating better with, I believe, existing and new riders is the e-newsletter. That can be a very powerful tool if used correctly. And we did look at a couple samples or some things that were sent to Mr. Button, and we noticed that some of them were great and very engaging, but some of them were a little longer with a lot of text. And to use it well, we believe that it should be something quick, like a video or some pictures or a quick story or how to get involved, and something that'll just grab your attention and maybe direct you to the website. And then that's the second part of the early communication, is keeping the website updated constantly. And so I liked how they had the check presentation and updates about that. But then throughout the year, you can continue to do things, with updates about patients or the research facilities or what's going on throughout the year, so people can be constantly looking at the website and feel like they're involved all year. Next season starts now kind of way, so that all year they feel engaged, and then it's easier to sign up for next year. And the earlier you get signed up, the earlier you can start getting your donations. So just keeping it so like it's a year-round type thing as opposed to just around the race time. And with that, I will hand it to Ben to talk about breaking down donations.
Yeah, so one of the ideas we struck out while working on decreasing commitment anxiety was breaking down the fundraising part of riders' requirements into different time segments. Most people, whenever they have a task or goal they want to accomplish, they break it down So basically what we would do is we would advertise this as a feature to potential riders, and then with riders who had already signed up, we would break down their remaining time for their fundraising minimum into 3 to 5 different time segments. I have a few examples here. Say we have an early bird rider who qualified for part 2 of the early bird, which ends on August 1st, obviously. And if they signed up for a 50-mile ride, the minimum would be $325. What we have here is just breaking it down, presenting 3 separate months, each of $125 suggested minimums in order to attain the overall goal of $375. We just basically feel whenever anybody breaks anything down or has a big goal they want to accomplish, they break it down. It seems a lot easier. 125 is nowhere near as daunting as 375. So basically the whole idea behind that is, making it a lot more manageable, a lot easier for people to wrap their mind around. Jay's is going to kind of touch on another aspect of decreasing commitment anxiety with a touch of sponsorship.
Okay, so along with lowering the commitment anxiety, we found sponsors to match the amount of money raised by certain groups, individuals, and like this year, the Pedaling Pioneers raised $3,130. So if they utilize this, then that will be matched by a company. So then it will come out to be $6,260, and it will just ultimately help people want to raise more money because they won't feel the stress of trying to raise more. So now we have Jack who will explain social media strategy with increasing participation.
Alright, I'm here to talk about raising participation at the actual ride. Our target market is 20 to 29-year-olds living in the areas we mentioned earlier, which is St. Charles, Town & Country, Wildwood, Kirkwood, Webster, Clayton, and Ladue. Our first step would be to increase advertising and promotion efforts about the actual ride using the same plan that Jay mentioned for the early bird, which is news media and KSDK, local newspapers, radio stations, word of mouth, stuff like that. And we believe another effective medium we could use would be to get a 20 to 29-year-old St. Louis athletic sponsor for the actual ride, like, say, Sam Bradford or Adam Wainwright, because if they were to make a commercial about the event, people could see them and identify with them, and it'll get people to listen. Our second step is social media. What makes social media so effective is that it's tailored to individuals and their interests, what they want to see. So it'll make people feel like they're a part of the event. Say if they're following Pedal the Cause on Twitter, they'll feel very involved through that. And it's also a cost-effective way to reach a very large audience. For Twitter, we want to use that throughout the year. Tweet about our sponsors and special events or offers coming up. We could have offers like, say, sign up by this date and get parking for free that day. I feel like it's a really good way to give people incentive to sign up. You can tweet pictures of teams, just get people interested. It's just something really important is to not overuse it. Oftentimes, Twitter accounts will tweet 100 tweets in a day, and followers can get really turned off by that because obviously it's what they want to see. So it's important to just have necessary, interesting information on it. As far as Facebook goes, we want to post more videos and visuals from the Pedal the Cause website, and then just promote the blog and website through the Facebook page. Make it more well-known, get people to go to them. Because what makes Twitter and Facebook so effective is that posts can be retweeted or shared amongst followers, meaning that current riders who follow Pedal the Cause can retweet a post to all of their followers who don't know anything about it. So it's a good way for current riders to inform new ones for free. As far as the blog goes, we believe that can be used very effectively. We can promote it through Twitter and Facebook and make it more accessible. And in the blog, post say individual stories about from cancer patients, like their story. Quick updates about the ride. Give updates about cancer research projects, because when people are donating money, they like to know where their money's going in the end. So if they have updates on where the research is going, its progress, it'll make them want to donate more. After the race, if we wanted to, we could implement a survey, ask participants how they felt about our advertising efforts, what they thought of the Facebook page, the Twitter profile, PTC as a whole, and just what we could do better. And for system evaluation, we would see success from this, obviously, in an increase in participants at the actual event, especially in the target market, 20 to 29-year-olds living in those areas I mentioned. More followers on Twitter and Facebook, and not only getting more followers, but maintaining them, make sure it stays constant, and then more website and blog traffic. So now I'd like to pass it on to Liz, who's going to talk about the fundraising competition.
Alright, so we thought that having a small competition within the race would inspire more participants and tradition to keep people coming back. So what we set up is having some type of trophy or like bicycle related statue that we can have their name, the winners' names posted on, for like having the top donations in groups of like corporate, student, rookie of the year, meaning first year riders, and then for teams, and the top teams, top corporate, could have their name on there, and every year get people added names, and it could be placed in a building, say like the research center or children's hospital, or even like the corporate building of the people that had won that year. So we thought that it would just inspire more tradition, because competition, like, it gets people involved, and they like a good, healthy competition, and because it brings them together. So yes, that's our idea for that, and I'm going to pass on to Danny for virtual ride.
Alright, so the virtual ride is essentially for people who want to support the cause and share the same why, but are physically unable to participate in the actual ride. So we believe the ultimate goal is to increase participation at the virtual ride. We can promote it further via social media and the actual PTC website, make it a more well-known option opposed to the actual ride. We can connect with actual cancer patients from the Simon Cancer Research Center and Children's Hospital and have them sort of rally around actual riders in order to raise awareness. We can partner with online cancer support groups such as Caring Bridge or St. Louis Cancer Forums of that sort. We can partner with these things to make a virtual ride a more well-known option among the community. Advertising and emotional support blogs around St. Louis. And also, finally, we could increase the minimum fundraising commitment for a virtual ride, which is right now $10 to $50, to make it more accessible and more productive. And now Maggie will talk about the next topic, the Kids Challenge.
Okay, with the Kids Challenge, we thought there was two parts. One, we could increase or promote the Kids Challenge more to increase riders, and the second was giving the kids tips to increase the fundraising, increase their personal fundraising. With promoting the Kids Challenge, we felt that this would be best reached through the schools in St. Louis, and instead of contacting each individual school, we found that there are civic project organizers, is what their title, but they're people who are in charge of the entire district finding projects for schools or specific classes, and they find projects like Pedal the Cause that they can participate with and help for the cause. So with that, we thought that another good way to promote the Kids Challenge would be through the cancer patients. You would find them through Children's and have them contact their classmates and their teachers, their Girl Scout troop members or Boy Scout troops, because if kids are connected to the person or the child with cancer, they're more likely to want to participate. And we kind of discussed about how parents would be so enthused about their kids wanting to participate in this type of event. So the second portion was giving kids tips to increase fundraising. We felt that kids are the best way to, those are the age groups that when they walk around to their neighbors or their teachers, people are willing to donate to them. And it's a little easier for kids to not feel as nervous doing that as adults even. So such projects like lemonade stands or church projects where kids can earn money for their ride. With that, we thought kids always love incentives. So whether it's the bracelets or the water bottles or T-shirts or like a chill gift card, to get kids to want to raise more money. Like if you sell Girl Scout cookies, you get prizes for how much you sell. So at the end of it all, we thought that some survey questions could go out to parents, asking them feedback about how much their kids liked it and if they would bring their kids back the next year. With that, I will pass it on to Ryan for the Saturday dinner event.
Alright, so for the Saturday night dinner, worked on increasing attendance, enhancing the actual event, and creating a community around the dinner event. And what we'd like to do is make sure that everyone knows about the dinner, make sure that on the website and during the sign-up process it's really prominent, and it also makes it sound fun and inviting. And another way that we'd like to do that is by sending a formal invitation to each participant that signs up to ride. And then what that is it's less of a brochure and more of a invitation, so that they're actually invited to the event rather than it's just optional or they might not want to do it. And we also talked about a new venue to make it more appealing and entertaining. We decided that the best possible venue would be Peabody Opera House, since it's in that area and it'd be a fun atmosphere. And then for entertainment, we thought that we'd stick with the local piece that Pedal the Cause is so true to. And we provided a list of local bands in St. Louis that you could pick from, and there's a good variety of different possible bands. And then also to increase attendance and make it more community-oriented, I talked about Taste for the Cause, which is a lot like Taste of St. Louis, which would take place during and after the kids' ride for parents who have kids in the kids' ride, and it would carry over into the dinner. And then Rachel is going to talk more about that.
So like Ryan said, Taste for the Cause would be an event similar to Taste of St. Louis, with the exception that the restaurants involved will either be unique to St. Louis, like Pedal the Cause is, or will share that same why. They're getting involved because they want to ultimately find the cure to cancer. We considered having it on the same day as the Saturday event to get people to stick around for the kids' ride and the dinner, but then we decided, we don't want to distract from that because the message that is portrayed at the dinner is so key. So we thought instead we would have the event early in May as a kickoff for the early bird. It would be probably one of the first weekends in May, and it would have we provided a list of restaurants and contact information of restaurants around St. Louis that, like I said, either share the same why or are unique to St. Louis that we think would be willing to get involved. And Claire can further touch on that a little bit.
Yeah, we looked at a variety of different restaurants, from Asian to Irish to gourmet cupcakes. Something that every age group and everyone will be able to go for. We've got vegetarian options, gluten-free, something there for every single person. So it's really a concept that will have just a bunch of people there. And seeing as it's in May, it avoids conflict with the Taste of St. Louis, which is the weekend before the actual ride. So if we were to do it on the same day as the dinner or something, a lot of people would be like, well, we just went to Taste for St. Louis, so why do we need to go here? So it kind of avoids that. It starts off as a kickoff to Early Bird, and it acts as sort of, it shows that this is a year-round thing and not just that one weekend in October. It gets people getting started early. There'll be opportunities at the Taste to sign up for riding, donations, getting involved, and it really just ties it all in together, except other than that, just one weekend in October. And then Jimmy will carry on with a survey for possible sponsors.
Yes. So, as you all know, it's very important to have a personal connection with the riders, but it's also very important to have a personal connection with the sponsors. To do that, we have thought of an idea of surveying the sponsors after the event. There's currently a survey for riders after the event, so this would kind of piggyback off that idea. To give sponsors a chance to give feedback on the event itself, but also, how well they were able to work with PTC. So this would help, give more feedback on that. Now, it's important to have the questions short, concise, logical flow. We have suggested some questions for the survey. We've broken it down into questions concerning the event satisfaction, and also we have questions for the relationship between the two, business to business, how well they're able to work with PTC. And what this data will do, it would help identify possible strengths, weaknesses within PTC, and it would help us address that and maybe capitalize on that. It would help build a personal relationship with the sponsors, create an event that is more sponsor friendly, and also help PTC work with sponsors more effectively and efficiently.
So, in summary, the traditions and personal connections established through decreased commitment anxiety, increased participation, and dedicated sponsors will allow Pedal the Cause to take the next step, expanding into the 3,000, 3 million goal.
Easy as that, my work is done.
And this is also an ad campaign for inflation.
You know, you guys are good. I happen to have my book open to my notes from a meeting I had last week called Taste the Cause. And the restaurants that we have commitments for so far are Annie Gunn's and Araka. And we're working on Niche, Cardwell, Sydney Street, and Whole Foods. So so you guys are right on. You guys, great idea. Now the thing that I really, now we had that going on a Saturday night, and trying to drive more participation down there. And with those types of restaurants, they're very high-end restaurants. It would bring people down there, and it would provide a real kind of nice dinner for people who've made this commitment. But I really like the idea of a kickoff. Right, and so that's something that is a great idea, and I'm wondering, my concern is trying to do something too big where you don't get that. People are busy. People are you want to have a really cool kickoff. You want to get people engaged. You want them, of course, it's our organization. You want them, engaged 24/7, right? But I told the class earlier who had suggested a volunteer party. We had this really cool volunteer party, and maybe like 20 people showed up. So you caution to and for budget reasons, you caution throwing too big of an event. But I really like a kickoff event. I don't know if that can be done with some type of taste or food truck idea or something like that, along with the training ride or open house. We're moving downtown, and we have this really cool space right by just west of the stadium. You know where the Westin is? So one of those old warehouse buildings. We're moving into that, and perhaps we can do something pretty cool there.
Well, and with the kickoff, I think we were more thinking like an informal type of event, and then with the Saturday dinner, with moving it to the Peabody, we were thinking more like a formal event.
Yeah, and then also seeing as it's around the same time as the early bird, it gives someone even more of an incentive to go. Like if you go to this taste, then you're going to possibly get your ride commitment a little lower. So it's even an added incentive too.
Yeah, no, totally. So you guys are great ideas, and good stuff. I like the